like an open question at the beginning, what just happened?
Well, I think the important thing to stress is the industry's not completely off the hook here. There's still a victory for consumers in the judgment. The Supreme Court made it very clear what they think constitutes an unfair relationship, and I think that's going to still mean that millions of people are owed compensation. I stress that because I've seen the initial reaction seems to suggest that the industry has got off the hook, but I think as people dig through the detail of this statement, they're going to see that there's still quite a number of claims to be made here.
You use the phrase, the industry got off the hook. What do you mean by that?
Well, there have been reports in recent weeks that, compensation bills might amount to £40 billion or so, and because there was 2 judgments ruled out yesterday, one was the tall order of bribery. I don't think many people expected that necessarily to be upheld, and it wasn't. But what was upheld was that there could be this unfair relationship between the lenders and the consumer, particularly where they were still doing secretive, sky-high commission arrangements, taking advantage of the fact that the consumer wasn't really fully aware of the relationship between the lender and the dealer. And that's going to open up a huge number of claims. There is also this existing ban on discretionary commission arrangements, which is a particularly egregious thing that the FCA are now going to release a compensation scheme on too. So I believe that the compensation scheme for this is still going to amount to the billions of pounds.
So I'm just looking at the case that was upheld, and you mentioned it a moment ago. This was Marcus Johnson. And the court said the commission paid to the dealer was so significant, 55% of the total charge or credit, including interest and fees, that it was a powerful indication the relationship between Mr. Johnson and the lender was unfair. So that figure has been set at 55%. Now, is your understanding of that that is the marker, or do you think there'll be margins around that as if other cases come forward, as they surely will?
Well, I think there needs to be clarity from the FCA on what they're going to define as unfair. And just because that case is 55% doesn't mean necessarily that is the bar. But what I will say is that I've been speaking to lawyers in the last 24 hours, and they said the number of cases that actually they were proceeding through the courts on that were based on this unfair relationship and were around that mark or higher. Some people have said with some banks the average was around 65%. I think people are yet to see the detail of how many cases are like this, and so that might be around about the right place for the bar to be. But the FCA are going to have to work with industry and consumer groups and others to try and make sure that they get the eligibility criteria for this compensation scheme right.
Now, a lot of people will have been waiting for that judgment, 4:35 yesterday. Now we're looking forward to Monday, aren't we? So the significance of Monday's announcement is what? And relate that, if you would, directly to consumers, people who think that this might affect them.
Well, I'm afraid people are going to have to wait a little bit longer yet. I mean, it is encouraging that the FCA are looking to move swiftly on this, but on Monday they're just going to announce what they are going to propose, and then it's going to go out to consultation. So there will be still further conversations with others before they finally release the scheme. So people might want to hold on a little longer yet, but we're certainly going to get to see what the FCA, how the FCA interprets the judgment on Monday, and then they'll be consulting with others to make sure that they've got that scheme right. But the fact that they are moving faster is encouraging. It means there should be swifter justice for a lot of people.
Bobby Dean, we appreciate your time this morning. Bobby Dean is an MP and a member of the Treasury Select Committee as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.